Well, I was informed that I might be the first person that's put two walbro 450 fuel pumps in a stock G-body EFI tank, but I was so worried figuring out if it could be done to not know that it probably hasn't been done and maybe shouldn't be done, but that's what it looks like. Got kind of an octopus here, but it'll make sense. So last fall I was doing some drag racing with the 2+2 and noticed that my fuel was a little bit lean, and what I was trying to do is by add some fuel or injector duty cycle, and my injector duty cycle was going up, but I really wasn't getting any more fuel to the O2 sensor reading. So I installed a fuel pressure rail sensor at the regulator this spring and found that my fuel pressure was actually dropping. Its base pressure about 58 psi and it trails down to about 42 actually, which is way low. Once I get in a boost in like second gear and the higher RPM, so above like 4,500, my injector duty cycle should be around 70% or so with 80 pounders and the fuel pressure I'm running, but it trails up and up and up and up to like 90, and luckily the injectors can almost go static open. And it can hold enough fuel. However, got another up there, got a smaller pulley, and that was only on E60. So this is an ethanol flex fuel car, so I wanted to add a little bit more fuel capability. Did some calculation, found I did in fact need two pumps, so this is two walbro 450s. Well, the dilemma is you can put awesome huge pumps in these stock hangers, but the stock feed line is a 3/8 line, and trying to put two pumps of fuel through one line, 1/3 isn't exactly worth it. And then also the stock wiring on the hanger is pretty spindly. This little wire here was the original sender wire. That's just to the pump, this lighter pink one, and it's maybe like 14 gauge, 16 gauge. If you read the instructions, it says 14 gauge or larger. I have some 12 here, so what I did is I put another pass-through with two 12s, one for each pump, and a new ground. So how I have it set is the original ground goes to the original pump right here. So that ground wire, focus, right there, goes to that pump. Then I split with this adapter, just a -6 pass-through that I machined some little spacers, if I can find one. Here we go. So I made these little ORB fitting spacers on Mona the Monarch lathe over there, and basically that acts like a SAE face seal. So I put an O-ring there. I can probably throw some pictures in the screen here. And I just tighten those nuts down and it seals this together. And I have some washers up here. And then I have a piece of Teflon that's got 3 holes drilled in here. And then this is actually potted with some epoxy, so it should hopefully prevent it from leaking. Now, part of the reason why I had to go through this whole rigmarole, I actually have a -6 or number 6 fitting here with a crimp with some EFI flex hose that came with the kit. And what I'm doing here is this pump is a pretty big assembly, and it won't fit through the hanger or the hole for the hanger in the stock tank. That's only about 4 inches, and It barely fits the one 450 in. You definitely can't fit two. So the idea here is this pump is totally removable. You insert the whole assembly in, and then you snake this pump in. You tighten that fitting, you clamp that connector in, and then fish a hose clamp on it, which I'll have in there, and maybe even just zip ties. Honestly, it shouldn't move around too much. It's pretty stable in there. So hopefully that's enough fuel for this thing. I'll put it inside the tank there. Okay, so here's the fun part. The single pump with the hangers in the tank. And then I've got the -6 pass-through right there. And the plug, and the port. So what I'm gonna have to do here is shut the camera off, fish it through, and when it's in, you'll believe me that it goes together. Well, I was informed that I might be the first person that's put two walbro 450 fuel pumps in a stock G-body EFI tank, but I was so worried figuring out if it could be done to not know that it probably hasn't been done and maybe shouldn't be done, but that's what it looks like. 2-6 hoses coming out of the tank, going to a Y, and going to my big, like 4,500 liter per hour rated fuel filter. Twin relays back here. Goes out to the front of the car. Got my splice packs. An 8-gauge wire from the front of the car to a splice pack, to the relays, to that plug, to the harness that goes into the deepest depths of the fuel tank. But might not be pretty, but it does work, and it's actually relatively cheap. Woohoo! Maybe that'll let me have fuel to run 10s on E. Well, I guess we'll see.